Blackhawks fell to the Predators 4-3 last night, and we have a lot to talk about on this episode of Queue the Dagger. The Chicago Blackhawks fell to the Nashville Predators on home ice 4-3 last night and extend the losing streak to 5 games. And it's tough. That's unacceptable. You can't do that this year. I mean, the team falls to 10, 9, and 6 now, and um, it's tough because, that's a game. I made a video on it, a few days ago. That's a game you have to win. Um, Nashville is the worst team in the league based on number of points, although now that they won last night against the Hawks, I actually don't know if that's true. But they're one of the worst teams in the league. They're down there with Calgary. It's either them or Calgary that are going to be the worst in the league. So you lose to the worst team in the league on home ice. Uh, there's just no excuse. I mean, the Hawks had 2 days off, 2 days of rest. They last played Wednesday and they play Nashville Friday. Um, there's no excuse. They debut the black jerseys. The energy is high in the building. Lots of fans in attendance. Um, you don't get points against Colorado or Minnesota, but you're feeling good about the way you played. You get Andre Burakovsky back in the lineup. There's no reason why they shouldn't have won that hockey game. And we're gonna get into why they didn't win that hockey game, but the overall point is it's not they didn't lose because Nashville played amazing. They lost because the Hawks played like garbage. It was all on them, and you can't blame the refs this time. There wasn't a call in this game. Sure, calls are subjective. There was calls you might not agree with, but there was no call in this game that was so egregious that you could say, okay, the Hawks, a big reason the Hawks lost was because of that call. That wasn't in this game. So the Hawks can only blame themselves. I thought personally, the only people that showed up tonight were Renzel, Green, Donato, and Bedard. I thought those were Bertuzzi or not Bertuzzi, sorry, Burakovsky maybe a little bit. I thought he didn't play too bad. There's some leeway with him there after missing a few games, obviously. But I thought Burakovsky didn't look that bad. Everyone else on the team didn't bring it. Everyone else on the team was garbage. Um, there was just zero energy. I mean, the Hawks came out of the gate flying. They were the better team in the first 5 minutes, and then they were for the next 55 minutes, they were terrible. But they dominated for the first 5 minutes. They were up 5-1 in shots on goal in the first 5 minutes. They were forechecking like crazy. I mean, they forechecked so hard, they caused turnovers. They caused Saros to turn the puck over, which almost led to a goal. Um, but I think that the turning point in this first period was not capitalizing on any of the 3 power plays. You have a 2-minute power play, and then you have a 4-minute double minor on the Donato high stick, and I think that was a turning point in the game. You could feel it after the first period when they didn't score on those three power play opportunities. You're like, "They're not winning this hockey game." Because they're not capitalizing on their chances. And you know damn well Nashville's going to get the next 2 or 3 power plays. And if they might not be a good team, but if you're going to get 3 penalties against you, you maybe don't feel good about your odds of killing them all because that's just the way it goes. But then they have some luck on their side. Well, maybe not luck, but something goes their way, and Donato gets one in the final minute of the first. Credit to Renzel on that goal. He makes the breakout pass. Well, it was in the neutral zone. I don't know if you can call it a breakout pass, but I'm gonna call it a breakout pass. You make that first pass to Donato, and then instead of Renzel just hanging out, dropping back as the late man, Renzel drives the net hard. He forces a defenseman to take him, giving Donato space, and Donato makes no mistake, and he puts it upstairs like Donato does. Um, so that was a beautiful goal. Credit to Donato there. I thought he came out of the gates flying. He was really good. He had some chances. He obviously drew that penalty. He had that goal. But credit to Renzel. Ever since I made that video, maybe last week or so on what are they going to do with him? Should he go to the AHL? He's been hot. He's been good. He's been a lot better. And he had a great game last night against Nashville, and he was the reason that goal got scored, other than Donato with the perfect shot. But yeah, Rinzo was unbelievable on that goal. Credit to him for driving the net, taking away the attention of that defenseman, which gave Donato space to walk in and pick his corner. So that ends the first period. The Hawks were up 11-10 in shots. Um, they were over 3 on the power play. Outside of the first 5 minutes, they weren't the better team, so, yeah, they had the upper hand in shots, but, me personally, I remember not feeling too great about it. I wasn't thinking to myself, okay, they're going to lose this game per se, but I remember thinking to myself, they're not dominating this game as much as they should be against a struggling Nashville team. And you're going into that dreaded second period. And yeah, they've played some better second periods lately, but it's still scary. I mean, pretty much all year, the second period has been just awful for them, and it's been a really big factor in them not winning hockey games. So you get into the second period. Again, I'm going to point out Sam Renzel. I thought he came out the second period flying. He was aggressive on pucks. He was confident. You could tell he was feeling it. Donato was playing great too. Like Donato had a play early in the first period where he stripped the puck and created a 2-on-1. And then things start to fall apart. Wyatt Kaiser gets caught on a bad pinch, which leads to a 2-on-1, and Matthew Wood makes no mistake. Um, I don't want to blame Soderblom on that goal, but the rule generally on a 2-on-1 is the defender takes the pass and the goalie focuses on the shooter. And that's what happened, and Wood beat him clean. So you maybe, you know, it's a 2-on-1, but you kind of you want some saves you're not supposed to get, and that's probably one. Um, at this point, I mean, Nashville is just faster. They're more aggressive. They're controlling play. They're winning pretty much. It's felt like every puck battle, every foot race. They were playing really well. Um, and they had the Hawks hemmed in for over 3 minutes. Kaiser and Renzel were just gassed out there. Um, Nazar has a chance to get the puck out. He tries to make a move. Nashville comes back in. He can't get it past the red line. So Nashville comes back in. 2-on-1. Stamkos buries it, and it's 2-1. And at this point, I'm sitting there watching the game thinking, oh God, here we go. Like the floodgates are going to open. The Hawks have nothing right now. This could get ugly. And that's a goal I don't blame Soderblom on. It's Soderblom on. It's a 2-on-1. The pass gets through. He's got to dive across. I don't blame him on that. He actually made a really good, I don't remember what point in the game it was. I didn't write it down, but he made a beautiful split save on a cross crease play later in the game. Um, but yeah, that's one I don't blame Soderblom on personally. Um, then Nashville gets a power play. Credit to the Hawks. Their penalty kill looked all the penalty kills looked great in this game. For the most part. I mean, the Hawks didn't let Nashville set up. I thought they looked good. They killed it. And then you get the knee-on knee on Oliver Moore from Weisblatt, and they called it. They called the knee-on knee, which they should have. That's a penalty. And then you have Doc jump in, and then you have was it McCarron that jumped in, and then everyone came in after that. But Doc originally went to drop the gloves, and then I believe it was McCarron or Haig, maybe it was Haig who was just feeding Oliver Moore. Uh, you know, typical goon Oliver Moore, right? You're just feeding him, and then you have Connor Murphy come in to stand up for Oliver Moore. It's mayhem, and you end up getting 3 penalties out of the play, 2 roughing minors, and then the knee on knee hit. So Hawks end up getting the power play. The first unit, just like in the first period, can't set up to save their life. And a bone I have to pick with this power play is that I don't understand why Burakovsky was taken off the top unit. It was in practice before the game. They released the lines. I think it was Ben Pope or Charlie Romeliotas. Someone put the lines out there on Twitter, and I saw Burakovsky was off the top unit and Teravainen was on there, and I didn't agree with that choice. And it showed in the game that that probably wasn't the right choice. You have 4 or 5 power plays. I think they had 4, and they don't. The first unit doesn't capitalize because later in this power play, you get the second unit out there. Great play by Burakovsky to chip it down. He should be on the first unit. Great play to Burakovsky to chip it to the corner. A huge puck battle win by Oliver Moore. He puts it to the front of the net to the wide open Ryan Green, who finally gets one. This kid has had he had so many chances this game. This kid gets chances every game. I mean, that's what's going to happen when you're playing with Connor Bedard and Andre Burakovsky. Um, and he finally buries one. It was a nice goal, and that gives you some life. Like you tie the game, you get the energy back in the United Center. The power play gets some confidence. At that point, you feel like, okay, we're in this here. Like this game is not over. It's only the second period, and it's a tie game now. And then a minute 15 seconds later, Nashville pressures. Vlasic loses his man. He gives Evangelista way too much room, and then he doesn't commit to the block, and he screens Soderblom. And Nashville, just like that, just over a minute later, takes the lead again and just deflates the whole building and all the Hawks. Um, which what makes this goal even more unacceptable is in response to the Hawks goal, Blashill puts out the Mikheyev Dickinson Donato line, your defensive shutdown line, and they get hemmed in and they get scored on, which just can't happen. I think Nick Foligno is a much bigger loss to this team than people give him credit for. I think they really need Nick Foligno back. I think he just provides, not only is he useful on the ice, but he's the voice, he's a captain. I think he just provides a lot. I don't know what he provides in the room, but I imagine it's a lot. The little clips you see here and there and just things you hear from the media. It seems like he provides a lot in that room, and I think they really need him back. Um, and then I thought the first line responded well to that goal. Bedard's line had some good pressure to end off that period, and they couldn't convert obviously, and that ends the second period. Nashville had the edge in shots in the second, 11-6. They played a better period. Like I said, outside of the first 5 minutes of the game, Chicago was not the better team. So you go into the third period, and it's just more of the same. Just no gas from Chicago whatsoever. They had no energy. They just took their foot off the gas completely again to start the period, and I don't think they really had much of anything in any of the third period, even when they were trying to tie it late. Nashville did a really good job of shutting down Connor Bedard, and it was very evident more so in the third period. But yeah, no gas from Chicago. Nashville came out hot in the third period. They were pressuring hard. And then you have another failed or misread pinch, this time from Grzelcyk, leading to a 2-on-1, which then led to a Ryan O'Reilly breakaway, and he buries it. And you got a 4-2 hockey game. Again, another one I don't really want to blame Soderblom on, but it's another one where it's like, hey, if you can just make that save for us, like you want your goalie to be able to bail you out sometimes, especially when you have a young team and a young decor. And that's just one you're like, if you can just make that save. But it's a breakaway. It's Ryan O'Reilly. I say that like he's Connor McDavid, but it's a breakaway. Not much you can do if you're letting somebody have a breakaway. It's the defender's fault, not the goalie. Um, and again, I thought the Bedard line responded really well to that goal. They had a shift in the offensive zone right after. They had two grade A chances, and they just couldn't convert. Like I said, Nashville did a really good job of shutting down Connor Bedard. Every time he had the puck, there was two on him. Even on the power play, I think that's why a reason why the power play struggled so much was because every time Bedard had the puck, two penalty killers, it felt like were on him, and at least one was on him and one was in tight support. They just gave Bedard no space tonight, and it was very evident. Um, so yeah, the Hawks maybe started to get some life back after the dump in from Kaiser. Took a weird hop off the stanchion, and Teravainen was gifted a goal with an open net. The puck bounced out to the front of the net. Saros was out of the net. Teravainen tapped it in. Second one like that he's had this year. I believe was it against Winnipeg? The other one he had at the beginning of the year. Um, but that's luck that you need. Like, sometimes you need some luck. And I was thinking to myself when that goal went in, okay, there's still like 9 minutes left here. You got some puck luck. You're back within one. Again, the building is back into it. Like, just don't concede a goal. Keep your foot on the gas or get your foot back on the gas rather and tie this thing up. There's still 9 minutes to go. And, credit to the Hawks, like they did push a little bit. But then with 3.5 minutes to go, Sam Renzel gets an interference call. And, like I said in the beginning of the video, there was no call in this game where you can directly blame the refs for the Hawks losing, and I'm not doing that with this call. It was, a call that I think could have gone either way. It was kind of, he's reaching for the puck's kind of near his feet going by him. Renzel steps up. It's a call that could go either way, in my opinion. I wasn't mad at the ref for calling it. If anything, I thought Renzel maybe should have played a little bit smarter there, knowing that was kind of a 50-50. Maybe could have used the stick. Didn't have to lay the body. Like I said, I believe it was Forsberg. He didn't have full control of the puck. It was kind of bouncing by him. I think maybe you go for the puck, not the body there, but that's just me. I'm not in the NHL. But yeah, that kind of kills the momentum, and the Hawks just couldn't get anything going. I thought Levshinov had a rough game, like, especially at the end there. He just couldn't, two failed zone entries. It was kind of just a mess. I didn't think Levshunov had a great game, and you end the game with third period shots being 10-8 Chicago, the final shots being 29-27 Nashville, and faceoffs. Nashville had a really good night. It was 39-23 for Nashville in the circle. Um, yeah, the Hawks just they're starting to come back down to earth. You had all those people at the beginning of the year when the Hawks were hot saying this isn't sustainable. They're going to fall back down, and it seems like that's happening. Like I said, they need Nick Foligno back. I think he's a vital part of this team. Um, but yeah, Nashville did a great job shutting down Bedard. That was a big thing for them. Rinzel Green Donato had good games. Like I said, I thought Bedard had a good game too. Burakovsky wasn't bad. Uh, they had a terrible, terrible 55 minutes, other than the first 5 minutes. Terrible 55 minutes. They didn't deserve the win. I don't know what the deserve to win-o-meter was, but they did not deserve to win that game. You can tell by the eye test that they did not deserve to win. I didn't think Kaiser had a good game. That one pinch he had that led directly to a goal was bad, but he had a few other pinches that were misread that led to grade A chances for Nashville. I noticed it a few times with him. I didn't think he had a great game. He was trying to be a little too cute. At one point, he tried to put it like through his legs or something. He was too cute. That's something you do when you're up by 3 or 4 goals. But Soderblom again, like I'm not gonna say he had a bad night, but just subpar. You maybe want a bit more out of him. If he can save one of those goals, um, like the Evangelista goal, it's a different game. But overall, like the team effort was just completely unacceptable. You're coming in having lost 4 straight, playing 2 good games. Your last 2 games were not bad games. You feel like you deserve the win. So you should be coming in with some vengeance here. You have 2 days off. There's no excuse. You're at home. There was no travel between games, and you're playing the worst team in the league in your own building. There's no excuse why the Hawks should have lost that game, and now you have, an afternoon game on Sunday against a red-hot Anaheim Ducks team. So it's like if that's the effort you're going to give against Nashville, what are you going to do against Anaheim? I'm almost afraid to watch. Um, yeah, team has lost 5 straight. They're 10-9-6. They're, I believe, 3 points out of a wild card. I think they have to hop San Jose still too. Yeah, overall just unacceptable. Uh, I still don't want to talk Gavin McKenna. I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think when the season's all said and done, at the rate things are going now, I would hope that they're a 500 team, give or take 3 or 4 games, like right around 500. I would be okay with that. I would be okay picking, if they pick between 5 and 10, I think that's a step in the right direction because you still get a top level prospect, but you also take strides um, when it comes to wins, losses, and points in the standings. So I think that would be okay. Like that's what I'm kind of, optimistically hoping for. I think unless they can really turn it around and get back to how they were at the beginning of the year, I don't think playoffs are in the picture. I mean, it was already far-fetched when they were playing well. So, yeah, I don't know. We got Anaheim on Sunday. I'll be back for another video after that game. This has been the second episode of Cue the Dagger. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. Lots of good conversation over there. My TikTok is also the same handle. I'll put the links in the description. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in the next episode.